The pick is in.
I sound like a broken record, but the Washington Wizards have made another selection in the 2024 NBA Draft. Thanks so much for being here. I'm Kylan Mills, joined by our Locked On Wizards host, Brandon Scott. Brandon, great to see you once again. This is just going to be the Brandon Scott show from here on out because the Wizards have gotten quite the haul in this NBA draft with their third selection in the first round. They go with Kyshawn George, with the 24th overall pick, a guard out of Miami. I know you've been happy with the earlier selections. They got Alex Sarr, Carrington. Now how you feeling with George in the mix?
Love it. Great draft overall. I mean, Kyshawn George is a shooter out of the University of Miami. We need another shooter on the team. So he fits a need for the immediate and the future.
Well, I do want to quickly mention this is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. You can find qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedinjobs.com at LockedOn/LockedOnNBA. All right, let's dig a little bit further into George. How do you feel like he would fit in based on the pieces that this Wizards team have? And then I just look big picture at now bringing in 3 first-round rookies. Like, man, I know you talked about how, yeah, they've got all the time in the world to develop, but still, this is going to be a long process that fans have got to buckle in for.
Oh, absolutely. But I think, again, it fits the timeline. I mean, we have a long road ahead of us, so we have nothing but time to develop right. The biggest thing with the Washington Wizards, especially if looking at past regimes under former GMs, Ernie Grunfeld and Tommy Shepard, which is, they missed the draft picks and they weren't really known for their development. Now, with a revamped scouting department, coaches that know how to develop, they can take their time, do it right, develop the right, and then get them ready for when it's time to make that move to be a contender. They're going to be ready to roll.
Okay, well, looking at some of George's biggest strengths specifically, you've got a big wing, can shoot the 3 ball, has some pace, maybe not the most athletic from everything that I'm seeing, in addition to maybe not being the most physical or assertive type of player. But from what you've seen, what do you feel like the biggest strengths and weaknesses are? And what do you feel like the development process is going to be for him to get into an NBA rotation?
Oh, well, looking at his cons before we get into his pros, obviously you already hit the nail on the head. Athleticism is a question mark. Defense is something that's definitely going to have to be developed. But the biggest thing, how he really fits the team, not only now, but in the future, is being that shooter. If you look at the fact that we have Jordan Poole, where his contract's not really tradable right now, we needed to, it behooves both Jordan Poole and the organization to get him to build his value up. And he's a guard who's going to push the pace. This is going to be a really fast team in transition. And with his ability to attack the basket and collapse defenses and utilize outside shooters, a guy like Kyshawn George is going to be able to eat on the outside.
And you just kind of pointed out something about pace. Like, how fast do you expect this offense to be? I know these pieces still need to be developed. It's getting to the point in the night where I'm getting delirious. But what do you expect to see from this Wizard offense when they do start to come to fruition with some of these younger guys?
It's going to be scary because if you look at especially the moves they made in this draft and last year's draft, this team's going to move. Alex Sarr at 7'1", he's quick on his feet. Same thing with Bob Carrington. Same thing with Kyshawn George. These are guys going to be able to get in transition and attack. And that's been the MO with the Wizards going back to John Wall. We've always been a team who like to push the pace and really attack teams in transition. So they're going to be scary when they really, form that chemistry and really develop the right way. It's going to be a scary young team.
Yeah, and you love to watch those kind of fast, pacey offenses. I think it's going to be really exciting. Well, thanks so much again for stopping by and for sharing your insight once again. Big haul for the Wizards overall. Last one for you is, what would you give the grade of this first round haul for the Wizards on a scale of 1 to 10?
I want to give him an A+, but I'm going to give him an A because, again, I'm not a big fan of the Denny move, but I will say this. For a team that is in the developmental stages, perfect draft. You got 3 guys who are going to be able to be really high upside players, in my opinion. And, again, we have the ability to take our time and develop them right. So it fits the timeline, and I'm very, very happy. A easy A.
All right. Well, Brandon, glad to hear that you're happy. You'll sleep good tonight. Appreciate you joining us. Once again, the Wizards with a 24th overall pick go with Kyshawn George out of Miami.
Miami Hurricanes combo guard Kyshawn George is ready to start his pro career after a one-and-done season in Coral Gables. I am Alex Dono from Locked On Canes. Kyshawn George's length and versatility make him a high-ceiling NBA prospect. He's 6'8", an excellent shooter, very good ball handler. Those attributes led Miami head coach Jim Larrañaga to use him extensively at the point. George played in 30 games, started 16 as a freshman, averaging 7.8 points, 3 rebounds, 2.2 assists per game. He shot over 42% from the floor, just under 41% from three. Kyshawn George was born in Switzerland, played in France for 4 years before joining the Hurricanes. George might need some G League seasoning before he's ready to be a full-time NBA contributor, but the potential is certainly there. A player comp for him is Joe Ingles. For more on Kyshawn George and all things Hurricanes, follow and subscribe to Locked On Canes on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
And for more on the Washington Wizards, make sure you go over and subscribe to Locked On Wizards on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts, and continue to follow our 2024 NBA draft coverage. You can subscribe to Locked On NBA on YouTube or wherever you get podcasts, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.